How has the Russia-Ukraine war affected the international energy cost and global food shortages?
Well, I mean, Ukraine is sort of the one of the breadbaskets of the world, and the most important part of any economy is sort of stability, right? Even if you have a sort of a stable medium economy, that's often to invest in than one that boom, boom, like, up super, okay, great. So wars do not bring stability. So that's one way bad. Um, you also had the foolish desanctioning of the Russian pipelines before the war, and the sort of self-sanctioning through eco nonsense, as I'd qualify it, of Western energy before the war. This, I think, also helped precipitate the conditions that caused the war. So you have, right, in order to effectively end the war or prevent a war or to leverage Putin or any peace process, you need non-military threats to someone like Vladimir Putin or Russia. If you do X, we will do Y. And the threats need to be real and actionable. So if you do X or don't do X, we will boycott your oil production and we will supplement the global energy market, cutting you out, creating economic catastrophe in your country. That needs to be a threat. It's not a viable threat under a Biden administration because they have not unleash domestic oil production. And in fact, they've actually allowed Venezuela sanctions reduction, which has allowed Iran to sell all their oil through Venezuela. So there's so all the loop. He's opened up thousands of loopholes for the Russians, Iranians, and the Chinese to get their products to market through South America and other communist and anti-Western states. This sort of the Obamification of society, where we believe by enabling people, by enabling bad actors, by hugging terrorists and fascists and communists and other genocidal lunatics, by giving them a big hug, we're going to moderate them because they will realize that we are truly, special and it's not how it works. It's not how it works. Bad guys need to be stopped. So you have, our economies in a bit more of a flux where we're under threat. If we become reliant on Russian or Iranian or Venezuelan energy, it's bad. It's going to be very, very bad for everyone. Much worse for the Ukrainians, but it's going to get much worse for everyone. And the ultimate effect of the war, I mean, one of our military aims and national security aims as the West, is anyone who's funded Ukraine needs to be, and I think we need to communicate this more effectively to the population. Again, it's one of the breadbaskets of the world. And if the Russians gain control of Ukraine, all those resources will flow east instead of west. You can say war this, that, what do we get out of it? Ukraine's not this. I'm sorry, we've invested far too much in this. And and with global food shortages, like, the grain needs to flow west. And the resources need to flow west. And I think the Ukrainians would agree with that. One, because we didn't invade them, we helped them from invasion. And two, who do you think is going to pay a more fair price to Ukrainian farmers? The Russians or the Western alliance, where there's multiple different buyers and you can actually have a free market there. So for everyone's benefit, Ukraine needs to remain sovereign, and the resources need to flow westwards. And in order to do that, we have to bring apart the conditions to bring peace, which is you need active military threats against the Russians, but you also need strong active non-military threats, primarily energy. I mean, I've been saying for years, the most important geopolitical position or thing you can do, like, is domestic energy production. You can even make the argument, and I have, that domestic energy production is actually a bigger deterrent than an entire military. Like, you can stop more wars by just making, more efficient oil and natural gas and supplementing the resources than you can with militaries. Because listen, if countries don't have resources, they will go get resources, especially oil and natural gas and energy, because every country has civilians and they all need to move from point A to point B. They need to grow things, and energy is a part of literally everything we do. And if you don't have energy security, you're gonna try and get energy security. That it's one of the rules of nature or statecraft, whatever you want to call it. So our ability to increase our domestic energy production and be a country or a block of countries, Canada and the United States, that can supplement other countries' energy peacefully and use that to negotiate them into positions that are less hostile to us is paramount. especially Canada with our military. Like our military isn't going to scare anyone, but we can leverage people with soft power through oil and natural gas. But we refuse to because we're going to save the
Yeah.
planet because Greta Thunberg told us to. There's a Swedish teenager running around yelling at us, and that's why we can't have world peace.